Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Again, this was our exclusive yesterday on Patreon. You can join the growing Patreon family again for as little as $1 a month. It does support the awakening, support the channel, and there are exclusives each week over there.
Indeed.
So we want to touch on a few things here. This is showing information about a ferry incident. So there was a mass casualty incident declared in Clearwater, Florida, Sunday evening after the Clearwater ferry was struck by another boat near the Memorial Causeway Bridge about 8:40 p.m. The boat that hit the ferry fled the scene. That's really suspicious there. Multiple injuries were reported among the 42 passengers aboard the ferry. Approximately 12 people were transported to various hospitals, with at least 6 described as trauma patients. 2 individuals with more serious injuries were airlifted. The 6 passengers on the fleeing boat were reportedly uninjured. The ferry came to rest on a sandbar. All the passengers were eventually evacuated. U.S. Coast Guard and Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission leading the investigation into the hit-and-run collision. Was it just a drunk driver? Could be, very well. Again, this is something that we'll run into. But what hits me, too, is just how you will see, I think, over the course of the years coming up, more AI driving and guidance systems in boats, and I'm sure there are in some right now. And again, we're all familiar with Teslas. This is Boston Dynamics robots. The AI-powered Boston Dynamic robots will soon replace your local police department. Well, don't laugh. RoboCop truly is happening, and it's already happened over in Thailand. This is the world's first AI cop with 360-degree vision and facial recognition, as you see it over here, towering above its compadres. This is interesting in that, again, it has a 360-degree camera in there that's running facial recognition patterns. Wow. I mean, here we are. We are really at this point now kind of heading into the Jetsons. I was watching a guy, police again, yesterday using jetpacks going from boat to boat. Yeah, it took a little while, but now they're going to show technologies that are going to blow our minds away. And we've seen this slow roll towards this dystopian AI 1984 future. And the question is everybody going to be replaced? Will there be any fast food restaurants with actual humans back there? At some point in time, maybe within the next 5 years even. I was going to say 5 to 10, but probably within the next 5. I think you're going to see a massive change in society and civilization, certainly in the bigger cities for sure. So what's going to go on? Politicians, this was also talking about AI written speeches, as you have politicians now. Instead of having a professional speechwriter, they're just pulling up ChatGPT, Grok, or something else to write speeches that are coming out better than those that were written by the professionals in the past. Are we going to a different place on the planet with this type of thing? When you look to stocks, a lot of people are very bullish on, again, anything with AI. You have the UAE, and I think back, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, the UAE and Dubai was really nothing on the radar. Now it is kind of like your poster child for futuristic cities. And they're using AI both to track the effects of existing legislation and write drafts of new legislation. So all the laws are being done through AI. This is part of the bigger giveaway, is the fact that most of the world thinks this AI is brand new and just developing now. It's led by, again, people like Elon and Tesla and others. But the reality is, it's always been here. It's always been here. And people are very worried about AI taking over. You already have the LAPD using, these robot dogs to enter homes. They can go in and defuse bombs and not put a human in danger. I really do think there's lots of good uses, but the question is, can they be put to nefarious use? Well, absolutely. The warfare of today already is drone-based warfare. And then, this post, murderous robot dogs deployed by a tyrannical police state. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, it is. And, they did a remake of The War of the Worlds. That was actually a very good little series. I think it was Netflix. I forget who did it. Gabriel Byrne was in it. And it turns out these robot dogs are the first thing that people see, and they think it's an alien invasion. Turns out it's humans from the future coming and sending back these robot dogs is in particular, is what they were using primarily to make humans go extinct. Why would humans from the future come back and try to eradicate humanity? Crazy, is it not? For me, I will always lean on a real pup to be your best friend. Look at this one. This Belgian Malinois is going through some serious training, and you can't replace this. He's blindfolded. This is a police dog. This, I don't know. This is dystopian to me. And again, when you have people that will no longer go along with joining militaries and go along with the plans of the control system, that's when they're going to roll out that tech. And we are at that point in time. So, I will always trust in the real dogs to be our best friends, our the ones we can count on, our Rama and Sita of this world, and Zeke and Sassy. There's love there. And yet, it might sound strange, but it really feels like people are falling in love with AI.
Well, there's that thing that the AI is doing where it's mirroring you. And I think emotionally, because we're humans, we kind of get attached to that. It's like, oh, wow, something understands me. But we really need to keep in mind that the true dance between energies, between one human and another human, one human and their pet, that dance of love is far different than what we're getting on AI. And I think we need to be very, very mindful and careful with our steps moving forward with AI. Make sure it's always simply maybe just enhancing what you already know. Be very careful to not let it take over your life.
Just a second to bring up something that perhaps we haven't touched on in a while, and that's the versatility of baking soda, which reminds me I got to order some more. When you utilize simple things like baking soda, this is really, I think, key to reclaiming our health is realizing, buy things as natural as possible. I would always go for one simple ingredient and put things together myself, as opposed to a lot of marketing products that might have 10, 12, 15 good things in there, but it just, like, when you go through the processing of things, it's opening up the door for other things to fall into the mix, so to speak. So keeping things simple, like, baking soda has been called a miracle worker, and something that can absolutely fight against inflammation and cancer. It's alkaline, so it neutralizes acids. And it just taking a little half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of baking soda in water can do an amazing thing with your body. Natural antacid, absolutely. I remember people that would do Alka-Seltzer, and just look at the labels. Look at all the extras. And people are waking up to the fact that there's so many extras that don't have to be there. And we finally have legislation banning some of the dyes and things like that. But But be careful again with aluminum. Like in this one later on down the line, it shows Arm and Hammer. Yeah, no, we don't get Arm and Hammer. Again, this is what they do: is they take something that could be very good and they add aluminum to it. We don't need aluminum. It's coming from the sky all day long, every single day. Absolutely, we make our own toothpaste, and at the core of it is coconut oil and baking soda. Coconut oil, baking soda, peppermint, essential oil, organic again. We put a little tea tree in there. You could even put a little clove in there, and that's really all you need. Ever since I switched to that about 15 years ago or so, I've had like even no sensitivity issues with my teeth. I haven't had any dental work since I was 12. It's all about what you put into your body, and again, steer clear of simple sugars. There's so much to be gained from this. Again, inflammation is the root cause of so many diseases. Now, again, make sure it doesn't have aluminum. It's aluminum free. I wouldn't get Arm and Hammer, but steer clear of that. Watch out. Some of them are loaded with chemicals, deodorants. Why do they put aluminum in deodorants? Because again, it's a toxic overload. The deodorant in and of itself might not do anything too negative to you, but you layer that in with everything else that's being utilized every day, and it creates a toxic overload that your system can't handle. So, again, the same sort of things you're using for toothpaste, you can use also as a deodorant, and baking soda be a big part of that. Aids in digestion. You can't go wrong. It's so simple. It's so cheap, and it has so many uses.
And there's, unfortunately, when you do look for it, you have to type in aluminum-free baking soda. So it's kind of ridiculous that we even have to type that in, but, it's a necessary evil. So just make sure it's aluminum-free and do your best. But yeah, there's so many things that are so simple to bring us back into balance. And this little puppy, he's having fun with his owner, giving his owner a little bit of happy time and enjoyment. That's just adorable.
Yeah, absolutely. I always take nature over AI, although granted AI can be fun. And, ChatGPT has been fun to talk to, and then it remembers you, which is the dangerous part, because it starts feeling like it's a person that you're interacting with.
Indeed.
As always, guys, thanks for your support. Come join us on Patreon. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.